Alright, so this video is about why the Commodore 64, brought out in 1983, was the worst computer built at that time. Here are the three basic iterations of the Commodore 64. You got the Commodore 64, you got the Commodore 128, and you got the Commodore 64C. Okay, why was the Commodore 64 the worst computer ever built in 1983? I'll tell you why. Because it had the best graphics chip and the best sound chip of any computer less than something, other than something costing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, like some kind of workstation or something. Had the best graphics sound of any computer at the time. And we're talking about Atari, IBM, Apple. It had the best. It was the Amiga of 1983. So, why is it the worst computer? It's because, yes, it had the best graphics and sound chips of any computer of 83, but you couldn't get to it. you couldn't use it. It was like having a, okay, what is a computer? Well, from my perspective, okay, it's like a sheet of paper and a pencil. You create stuff on it, right? But the 64, you had to create the paper and the pencil from scratch before you could even use it. The basic is what made it the worst, because you couldn't access all the cool stuff. There's a lot of people out there saying, well, you got to do machine language and do all that stuff, and the majority of those people that say that nowadays, they're the same people that they use emulators and all this stuff and modern graphic programs to create the graphics and stuff to create 64 software. Not all. There are exceptions, of course, rare exceptions. And I gotta say that the 8-bit guy, whether you like him or hate him, he put out some games, modern games on the 64, and he did it the old-fashioned way, right? So you got to give him kudos for that. But okay, right out of the box, it's cool if you can use a computer, create graphics, use sound, just right out of the box without having to add a bunch of stuff. So, and the 64C wasn't really an improvement over that. It, better looking case, I guess, and that's about it. But and then you got the 128. 128, vast improvement, basic 7.0, no complaints, excellent basic. The only problem with this machine is that it had too much stuff on it. Let's take a look at it. Okay, it's too big. I mean, it's a beautiful machine, but the circuit board has too much crap on it. Okay, it's got a Z80 chip on it. I remember using CPM on this in, I think it was 85 or whatever. It's useless, basically. It's really no good. Pointless. It's pointless. What they should have done is, well, that's neither here nor there, is it? But the point is this computer, half of it was really fun. The 128 part with the basic 7.0 was right on the money. And I'm fond of all my 64s. I've got a box 64 that's like practically brand new, in the box with all the paperwork and the manuals and all that. I've got this one. This is my you know, hack-a-day bread bin, and of course I use the 64C. Most of the time it's out and I'm using it. So how can we just fix that? Let's go to the next clip. Alright, so the goal is to make this thing better, where we can write a really fun game in BASIC. No machine language, just everything in BASIC. I know there's a lot of people out there, you know, oh, BASIC. I like BASIC. I know how to program machine language, but I like BASIC. I'm going to do it in BASIC because I like BASIC. If you don't like that, go somewhere else. Alright? So the way we're going to do that is this way. Let me switch shots here. Alright. We are going to use Super Expander and Simon's Basic, and just partially using them so far. Simon's Basic's got the edge. It's got, like, I mean, it's got sound commands, graphic commands, this commands. It's got the whole thing, man. The Super Expander is basically just graphic and sound commands. So just from preliminary testing of this stuff, because I didn't have access to this back in the 80s, Simon's Basic beats Super Expander. However, if you guys have ever used Basic 7.0 on the 128, it was obviously taken from commands that Commodore used on the Super Expander. It's got the sprite definition program. It's got the same syntax as used for the sprite command, the sprite move command, etc., etc., etc. So I'm planning on writing some games on using both these cartridges, and comparing the speed, the ease of use, and let me switch shots here. Just see which one's more user friendly. So I'm planning on writing the games, and first writing some simple games, like Seawolf, something simple like that, and then expanding off in like maybe some RPG type stuff with graphics, AD&D type stuff with graphics and sound, but all in BASIC, and all the graphics and all the sounds will be created on the original hardware. No emulator stuff, no modern graphics packages being used and then ported over. None of that. It's all going to be done on original hardware. If I have to write my own software to create the graphics and the sound stuff, I will. It's not a problem. But it's all going to be done with original 80s equipment, and that includes the cartridges. Okay. One caveat to that. Okay. Yes, there is a caveat. The caveat is for storage, okay, because I don't like losing stuff I write. Alright, I'll be using the SD to IEC. Is that cheating? Yeah, kinda. But I don't think so. Okay, that's just this will bring me peace of mind knowing that I can save my stuff to modern storage device. Okay, yeah, is that cheating? Yeah, a little bit. I've I've got a 1541 drive. I've got another 1541. I think it's 1541 2. You know, it matches the 64C style. But and I've got blank discs, so I could put it on original 5¼ inch blank discs. But I'm going to use this, okay, just for my peace of mind, because when I write software, I want to make sure that it's saved. I got multiple copies, etc., etc., etc. Back in the 80s, I was bitten way too many times by these guys. That's another story. I'll get into that later. If you use the Atari 8-bit computers in the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so games written using Super Expander, Simon's Basic, SD2 to IEC on original hardware. This is original hardware. This was out in the 80s, okay? So alright, so stay tuned for that series. I'm going to make a series of videos about doing basic games, and I'm writing in basic. That way people that aren't into programming, that would like to see how, you know, some basic stuff was done. That's why I'm doing it in basic. No machine language. Cheating a little bit, yeah. Can you blame me? Basic 2.0? No. Alright. So stay tuned for that series. It's coming up. This is Scotty Animation. Like, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff. Alright, I'll talk to you later.